again, and we're back on Narrowboat Bullock Smithy this morning. It's a very cold morning. It's been very nearly minus 2.4, 2.5 here, and it speaks of being very cold for the next 2 weeks or so here. So I've come this morning and thought I would, obviously, as I've explained before, this is a little holiday boat, mainly use, you know, through spring, summer and into autumn. In the winter I only come and do odd bits of work on it, and so obviously with the cold weather it's got a little water cooled Vetus engine. So the plan is this morning, see if the engine will start. It's not started before Christmas, so yeah, we'll see if the engine starts, and that's the first thing, and then we'll let it warm up a little bit, and then I'll try and do a little bit of video of, it's very cramped in the engine compartment here, obviously at the back there, but I'm going to run some sea-safe antifreeze in the cooling side of the engine, just as a bit of a precaution, you know. As I say, we are in town here. It's probably not as cold as where I live, but you know, the boat's on water. I've known this marina freeze up, this lake freeze up, so it is possible, you know. And as I say, it's just a bit of a precaution. In other years I have had small tubular heaters on this boat, but I didn't think they were very effective, and to be honest, it seemed really you know, a waste of money. It's a very dry boat, the bilge is very dry, the boat doesn't leak, obviously there's no big windows, and so really you can shut the boat up and really forget about it, as I say, with the engine with some antifreeze in over the winter. So yeah, let's see first. We'll see if the engine will start anyway, and we'll take it from there. So there you can see the engine. This boat has a very small 2-cylinder Vetus. I think it's rated, I'm not sure whether it's 22 horsepower. This isn't the original engine that the boat was fitted with. This engine is a replacement in 2005, and when I bought the boat it was thoroughly overhauled and it's been well serviced, and I have to say it runs very well, and so we'll have a see how she'll start. As I say, it's -2 out, and this hasn't run since about December the 15th or 16th. We'll give it some, this has got 2 heater plugs, so we'll give it a few minutes, just a few seconds rather. I think in the book it says between 8 and 15 seconds, and it's been running a little while. I was amazed. Honestly, that was a total cold start. So I think you can see there's not an awful lot wrong with the engine at all by any means. It's been a very reliable engine. It's an amazing little engine, really. As I say, it was taken out and had a good overhaul 3 years ago when the boat was overplated, because we altered the whole kind of outlay of the engine room. Originally, Brummagem boats built these drum tugs with the engine right, I don't know if you'll see my hand there, right ever so high up where my hand is. And the idea of that was, I think it was because they're hire fleet, they could whip an engine out very, very quickly, and originally it had a hideous belt drive system, so the engine wasn't directly driving the prop, it was driving a belt system, all on a wooden plinth, and obviously with the age of it, the belt was squealing, the belt was slipping, And so we totally redesigned the engine room, keeping the engine and having new bearers, all new shaft and that kind of thing, which overcame this horrible belt drive system, which I think was going to be an absolute nightmare, because there was all this wood in there, and you couldn't even get your hand in to see the belt or tighten the belt or get any tension on it. So I'm so pleased we did that. And to say, this Vetus has been super reliable. I really can't fault it. It ticks away over like that all day. So as I say, we'll give it a good few minutes to warm up, and then I'll show you basically the very quick process that I do just to get a little bit of antifreeze. You can see that there's some paint coming off the engine. Sadly, this is a very dry boat. If you have a look in the bilge, there's the only water that I get in this boat is rainwater. It rains through the boards. I have a rubber mat above there, but I do get a little bit of rainwater in, and obviously that's what I think it's rained on the engine up there to take that off. But apart from that, I don't think it had done a lot of hours when I bought the boat, so the guys at the boat yard that took it out and sort of gave it a really good service and look over. So yeah, we'll come back. So it's getting warmed up a bit now. Right, so the engine is nicely warmed up now, and what I do, again, whether you'll see this, it's so confined in it. This hose here is the main water intake for the engine. So we take this Jubilee clip off here, take the hose off, and I might have to extend this, otherwise you keep getting water. I'll explain about that when we've got it off. And then obviously this hose, this black hose here where my hand is, we take that off, pull it off, and then stick that in the container of sea-safe antifreeze and run the engine, and the water pump will pump the antifreeze through, and obviously then we can just switch the engine off when we've got enough. This little engine doesn't take a lot at all. So we'll get this clip off and see how we go on. Right, we've got our pipe off there, as you can see. Hope you can see that, there's a bit of rag in there. And we've now got the water cooling pipe into our sea-safe antifreeze there. So we'll start her back up and run it through. That's the theory anyway. Sorry, you probably wouldn't have seen a lot of that. My water catchment thing was clicking on the engine there, but as you can see, we've sucked up a good nearly all that. So that's quite sufficient for this boat. I'll now reattach the pipe. So yeah, we've had a good clean up now, and mopped any little bits of water but I think you can see, hopefully, it's quite it's a very dry boat. You get a little bit of a drip through the prop shaft, but I think you know they always say you need that, but it's incredibly dry, as I say. But all that gear there, the shaft and the fitting and everything was replaced when we took the engine out to realign it all. You have to remember, it is what it is. It's an old boat. It has obviously underneath in this area it has all been overplated. So obviously, but I still try and keep it, looking as best as one can. And as I say, the little Vetus engine runs remarkably well, and I hope you saw that, how well it did start today. As I say, it got a bit chaotic, as it always does. I really must, if we come back into this section here, I really must, something I want to do is put a water shut off there, because you still tend, this is, I think, what it goes down to what they call a mud box, where the water is sucked in and a strainer, and you do certainly get a lot of water coming out when you take this pipe off. Well, you know, thinking about it, in the winter I would rather like to turn this off. So there we go, that's the job done. Sorry, as I say, my container that I've got just under the catching any drips of water sort of knocked on the engine, and so it got a bit fraught as I tried to remove that. But I hope you got the gist of that. As I say, basically all you're trying to do in this case is suck up some of the safe antifreeze, like into the pump and any pipe work, and into the engine. That theoretically, using it neat, should protect you against, it says -50, but I mean, hopefully we don't get nothing that severe in this country. But it has been known, I mean, I'm known in Northampton, I think it was in the 80s, we had some -16, -17 frosts, a couple of nights. And I think it's more if we get a succession this time of year in this country, if we get a build-up of frosts, it runs in and it can freeze even in February all day. And obviously that's how canals and like this marina lake would freeze up then. You get a general build-up and it gets colder and colder, and then I would be concerned. That is why I've done it so late this year. Normally I'd do this job end of November, early December, but it's been so mild and so changeable. We've only had we've had 1 or 2 odd sharp frosts, but nothing that builds up. It's over a period of time, and it does speak for the next 2 weeks. It's going to come very cold every night, so it's just basically kind of peace of mind. I'm sure it must help. As I say, I mean, obviously if you live aboard a boat, you don't have these issues, but as I say, this is just a purely holiday boat. Or if you're, of course, even if your diesel engine is air cooled, you don't have these kind of issues. But being water cooled, I think it's always advisable, if you're not using the boat in the winter, just to play it safe and say run some sea safe antifreeze through it. I shall even try, I don't even like running that into the water when I do next start the engine up, which, if we have a mild spell, I might try it in February, and see what the outlook looks like. And it's usually end of February, early March. I still try and catch the water at the outflow, the exhaust. I put, have somebody here helping me, and have a bucket or a little bowl and try. And I don't like running anything into the water, although even it does say this is harmless and totally safe. I'm not 100% sure about that. I mean, you must never use like the glycol antifreezes. I think they kill all the fish and wildlife, so I've been told. So there we go. That is now hopefully Bullock Smithy's engine winterized, and as I say, we can we'll still be probably coming back to do some more, carrying on with the jobs we've been doing. So yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Please do come back if you've got any comments, how you winterize your engine, or any thoughts on that. Please comment below, and love to hear from you. But thanks for watching, and bye for now.